Okay, what is up? It looks like we're looking at the very first episode that I'm ever gonna do in my lifetime here. It's gonna be a trash episode. It's definitely gonna be a trash episode. It's the first episode. I'm just learning what's going on. You're listening to the Josh OT podcast. Is what it's looking like. We're going with for the time being. I like its ring. The Josh OT stands for overtime. We're gonna see how it goes. Um, it's just me exercising in things that I want to do. I've spent a whole lot of time. I mean, not a whole lot. I'm only 20. But I've spent a decent amount of my time just doing shit that I should not be doing. Just doing shit that chasing things that aren't my ultimate goal. I've been to college. I like learning. I love learning. I've had professors that I really enjoyed talking to, that I really had a good time with. But I've also had some professors that have really made me steamed. They really got me steamed about some stuff. I did not like the way they taught. I did not like the way they treated their students, and it just all around didn't work out. Um, but it looks like this is what I'm doing here is I'm done with that. I'm done chasing things that I don't want to do right now for the time being. Obviously, I'm gonna have shitty jobs for the time being until I make some real money. But for the most part, I'm starting to do exercises and things that I want to do. And the first real thing, one of the things that I've been talking about for a really long time, is this podcast, the Josh OT podcast. Welcome to the Josh OT podcast. This is this is me just chasing it like all of us should. No, none of us should be sitting on our ass doing things that we have to do because society said so. You just need to go at it. We all need to stop making excuses, man. We all need to start, if it's working out, if it's reading more, if it's working on your craft, just doing your hobby more. We all need to do it, and this is me trying to do it. Um, this is the first experience. I'm hoping that I don't say a lot. I just said it. Put that strike on the board. I'm hoping that I don't say that a lot. But welcome to the first experience. We're gonna start off with some New York Jets news because I'm just sticking with what I know for the first podcast. So that's what we're gonna go with. And the first thing that I wanted to cover is it's gonna be the Jamal Adams contract situation. I did it again, son. But anyway, a lot of people are mad at Jamal Adams right now. Jamal has stated that he's not gonna do the involuntary online workout stuff, not the workouts, the online meetings. With the coronavirus going on, they got the online meetings, and Jamal Adams has already stated that he's not going to do the non-mandatory stuff. I forget the word for it, but he's not going to show up for that. And in the past weeks, we've been getting a lot of these rumors coming out of Jamal Adams' camp. They're not rumors; they're true, coming straight from the horse's mouth, or the horse's camp, that he wants an extension on his contract right now. Now, it sounds a little crazy when you look at this contract situation and when you think about it on a regular basis, when you think of other players' contracts, because homie, what is he? Is he on the third year or the fourth year? I think he's on the fourth year, and we're headed in. We just picked up the fifth year option, and this is the first year where he's eligible to get an extension. And like anybody would, he wants the extension right now. Now you cannot blame Jamal Adams for going after that extension. It's the natural thing. Everybody wants that dough, son, and Jamal Adams wants that dough right now. And I can't blame him for it. No, nobody can blame him for it. When you obviously too with the way Jamal Adams plays, Jamal Adams is a straight dog, and he kills it on that field, kills it, and he definitely deserves top paid. Jamal Adams, I don't care what nobody says. Jamal Adams is a top safety in the league, and the film speaks for itself. And it's not only the film; it's the stuff. It's the stuff in the locker room that matters. Jamal Adams brings personalities to the New York Jets. He was a vocal leader on this team. He's his team captain, I believe. If he's not, he should be. I'm pretty sure he's a team captain though. He's gotta be. Homie's gotta be. Greg Williams, not Greg Williams. Is Greg? Yeah, G Dub. Greg Williams. Greg Williams loves this man. Greg Williams is a man of controversy. A man of controversy, that guy. He is from the Bounty Gate with the Saints, where he the spin is where he incentivized players to injure players on the opposing teams, and that's a no go, obviously, with the league. He got suspended indefinitely for the back then. I'm pretty sure. Uh, but he's back now after a long hiatus. They let him back in. He paid his dues, man. The homie paid his dues. Jamal Adams loves him, and that's something that I like. Honestly, a little quick take here. If homie wants a try at the head coaching's job, give it to him. Give it to him because none of us like Adam Gase. And to speak on Adam Gase, it I guess I'll give him a clean slate for this year. I guess we all got to do that anyway. There's nothing we can do about it. I was one of the people that wanted him gone last year, and now we got to deal with him sticking around. That's just a whole nother story, man. But listen, last year, what I was hoping, it was such a tough time to be a New York Jets fan, but it always is. So what does it matter? The biggest difference this year is that we finally have the quarterback, the biggest, the largest piece of the puzzle. That My bad, that probably sounded terrible on this mic. But the largest piece of the puzzle, the New York Jets finally have that, and it looks like we're squandering it. At least last year, it looked like we were squandering it with this guy Adam Gase looking around the room, can't even find where to make the right calls. This guy sucks. Sucks last year. He sucked. He gave up on the team on some of those games. I remember it was one of those games where David Fales was in. We were doing so terrible, and this guy, your head coach needs to be a leader of men. Above a lot of things, your head coach needs to be a leader of men. If he wants to get through that door, even get through that door to get interviewed, he's got to be a leader of men. And Adam Gase does not strike me as a leader of men. And according to the leaks from earlier in the year, or last year, 2019, we got some leaks that some of the players were saying that they were fed up with Adam Gase's, quotes, tough guy act. And that's kind of like what he portrays. If you look at him when he deals with the media all the time, he portrays himself as like, oh, you guys aren't important to me. I'm just gonna do what I want to do. I don't need to explain my calls to you for no reason. And that's the kind of spiciness that Adam Gase likes to put on his chicken. And I do not like it. I do not fuck with that. And the vast majority of Jets fans don't fuck with it. And according to those leaks, the team doesn't like it either. And we have evidence of a lot of players in his past. Like, who's it? Jay Ajayi, the running back. He used to be the running back for the Dolphins when Adam Gase was up and running. Jay Ajayi up and left, but not only did he up and leave, Adam Gase pretty much booted him out the door, from what I recall. He said goodbye, Ajayi. And that's been the story of Adam Gase for the most part, and he's the head of the New York Jets. And when they made that announcement in 2018, I believe, that he was going to be the head coach, man, oh, come on, what a day to be a Jets fan, man. What was it? Joe and Evan had a field day on that one. It was a good episode of Joe, and it's just. Come on, Jets. Come on. We had, who is it? We had he's now the coach for the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy. He was on the list. Not only that, but we had the recent hire by the Panthers. Oh, what's his name? But he's a well-respected coach in the league. I'll look him up right now. Panthers head coach, because I want to get his name in. Matt Rule. Matt Rule is one of these coaches in the league that he's not in the league right now. In the college league, he was seen as this guy that can turn your organization around, that can walk in and immediately gain respect. And one of the best examples that we as Jets fans can see of that is our best receiver up and left to go to play for him. He doesn't even have a year in the league, Matt Rule. And Robbie Anderson. Shout out to Robbie Anderson, the Sun God. Listen, man. It sucks that you left, but everybody here, all the Jets fans. We love you. Jets Reddit loves you, man. And it's listen. It was a sad day. It was a sad day when Robbie Anderson left, but we got it. We got it. If imagine if we had Matt Rule working for this organization right now, he would have had the most fire initial press conference because he had that for the Panthers. If you watch Matt Rule's press conference for the Panthers, he laid out who he was, and who he was a very attractive coaching candidate. One would think, one would think that you would look at this guy and say, "Hey, looks like a professional dude, looks like a leader of men. I'm gonna want to bring him into my organization." But that's not what the Jets owners believe. The Jets owners, Christopher Johnson here, to step in for Woody Johnson, who is currently the ambassador for England or something like that. He's stepping in right now. He stepped in for the past 3 years, I want to say, 3 or 4 years, or whatever. However long the Trump administration's been going on for, but he stepped in for that time. And what he did in that time is he hired Adam Gase. I mean, he was around for when Mike McCagnon chose Sam Darnold, but that's like, I don't know how much influence he had on that. I really liked Mike McCagnon's strategy to move up in the draft. I mean, a lot of people didn't like it at first for some reason. A lot of people were saying that we gave up an arm and a leg for that, and we did. But that's the price of a franchise quarterback. We were looking at Baker Mayfield at the time, which I think now when you look back at that, oh man, that would not have done well in the New York Jets with the media that we have. But we were looking at Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, I like the way he throws the ball. I really like the way Baker Mayfield throws the ball. He has a zip on his ball that can just get right past that defender, and they don't even know it's coming. When he first hopped on the scene, the wide receivers on the Browns, they had to be like they were telling the reporters that they had to adjust the way they caught the ball from this guy because he had so much zip. And if you watch the film, you see it. You see the zip that this guy has, and he's just a great thrower of the ball. He's incredibly accurate. So in that sense, that's what we were looking at, I believe, when we were looking at Baker Mayfield. Well, at least the rumors were saying we were looking at Baker Mayfield because everybody presumed that Sam Darnold was going to go number one. Thank God, homie dropped to 3, and now I'm sitting trying to get my hands on a Sam Darnold rookie card right now before they blow up. Because yes, I believe he can be a superstar in the league, and I could show you the film to back that. And it's kind of crazy that a lot of people don't believe that. It's kind of crazy that I see. Just the other day, I saw like a quarterback tier list at some Instagram account that I follow. They posted a quarterback tier list, and it was something like elite, franchise, decent, and then just trash was at the bottom. And guess where you find Sammy Boy? You find him in the trash section, in the fucking bargain bin, bro. That's not no. That's somebody who doesn't watch film, honestly. Or not that he doesn't watch film, he just didn't watch film on Sam Darnold. Because if you watch film on Sam Darnold, the throws that this guy can make, oh my god, you gotta watch it if you haven't seen it. Especially some of these throws he's thrown to Jamison Crowder. There was one throw in particular in the Ravens game. And by the way, that Ravens game, the Jets versus the Ravens, the Jets it seems like they just didn't realize that they could compete. Because they're walking in to a stoic Ravens team. A Lamar Jackson that's lighting the league on fire, that's putting on the wiggle sticks on these boys. And it's looking unreal. And when the game's starting, like, I have faith in this defense. If you look at this defense, what were we? We were really high in rushing defense. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but we were really high last year, and I thought that would be a great matchup against the Ravens because obviously they're a high rushing team. Now, Lamar just breaks ankles, so I knew that we were not really accounting for that. Nobody's gonna figure out Lamar's spell for a while now, I believe. The Titans, did a little bit to stifle them, but he's still gonna come back. He's gonna wreck some. He's gonna break some ankles, man. There's gonna be some ankles on the field. There was a lot of ankles last year. You're looking at another year of ankles being lost on the field, and that's where you're gonna find, you're gonna find Lamar Jackson's victims. You're just gonna see the trail of ankles, and we walked into that game, and in the beginning we were just playing a little sloppy on defense, to be honest. And we have a good defense, but if you watch the progression of that game, it really picked up, and we showed the potential of the New York Jets team. It obviously trailed off towards the end. The final score was something, it's Lamar Jackson. What can you do about it? But I think that could have been alleviated if we just started playing like we played closer towards the second half of that game. Because a lot of those extra points, if you look at that, actually let me look up the score for that so I can really get this story straight. Jets Ravens score, so I can show you what's going on, tell you what I think about it. See, it was 21-42, and if you look at the first quarter, the Ravens get 13 points. 13 points in the first quarter, man. That's that's a defense that's not really showing up, man. And that's to be understood with Lamar Jackson, and with the Jets team that kind of had the wind knocked out of its sails early on. There was a lot of faith that they didn't have in themselves, I believe, when they walked into that game. But as you get closer to the end, they start picking up. The offense, in particular, starts picking up, but also the defense. The defense makes great plays. I would have to rewatch the film to really tell you about it, and maybe on my next podcast, I'll learn from this moving forward, and I'll gather some more points, some more solid points to tell you guys. But they they really they really showed out in that game, and they competed, and they showed what I believe that this defense could do with third stringers on the board. Neville Hewitt, man, showed up last year. Really showed up. He makes Avery Williamson almost expendable. Right now. We're walking into the league year, the season with Avery Williamson and C.J. Mosley and Neville Hewitt on the board. Um, I'm all for it, man. Because as Jets fans, we were all looking forward to C.J. Mosley and Avery Williamson packing it together, because the year before, Avery showed out. He showed out, and he showed the potential he has. And of course, from that first Bills game, we were shown the potential of C.J. Mosley. That was a beautiful sight, man. And it was really sad that he got out. But it goes to show you, and I can circle this back to my point where last season, I wanted Adam Gase to be gone. He was mishandling that offense. That offense wasn't doing shit to get things done. And Adam Gase, every time you'd see it, every game, we'd come out, we'd show out. All the scripted plays would work perfectly to a T. The opening drive, Adam Gase would be having us working on all cylinders on that offense. Second half comes around, you don't know where the offense is at. They're off in the fucking bus already, bro. They ain't here, man. And that's just, and it was a reoccurring theme. And from what we got from the Miami Dolphins, it's just something that Adam Gase does. But if you look at Greg Williams' side of the ball, every week, they're showing up prepared. Now, that's kind of a little contradictory to the statement that I had with the Ravens, but I do believe the Ravens was a little bit of a special case. Lamar Jackson is lighting up the league, and the New York Jets, of all teams, have to come over and stop him. I guess they just didn't have all the faith in the world, And Greg Williams did have some questionable moves here, moves that make me wonder if, like, maybe a front office had, like, well, not front office, but like ownership, maybe. I don't know. And what I'm referring to here is him playing Tremaine Johnson after starting. Oh, he started Nate Harrison over Tremaine Johnson in one of the games, and Nate Harrison had himself a great game, and we were like, all right, goodbye Tremaine Johnson, because you're obviously not Nate Harrison, but he brought him back in, and I mean. I guess you could say, because Nate Harrison later in the league had some hiccups. Later in the season had some hiccups. So maybe that's what Greg Williams was looking at and saying, hey, let's try Johnson again. Maybe after benching him, he'll get his fucking balls. But he didn't. He clearly didn't. He just wasted our money. He's still wasting our money. We cut him. We got a lot of dead money in this year's cap, man. Sucks. It sucks. But it's that's a Mike McCagnon flub up. Thank you for Sam Darnold, Mike McCagnon, but you really fucked us with some of these signings. Right now too, with he's a great guy that I'm about to talk about. Quincy Enunwa. Quincy Enunwa, Mike McCagnon gave him a lot of money, man. A lot of money for a player that's not even playing this year. He's already ruled out, and it's sad. It's so sad because Quincy Enunwa is a beautiful football player. He's a great wide receiver. If you watch his film, man, he's a big body running back that's a wide receiver with great hands, man. And he ran over people when he was playing. And as Jets fans, we all loved him. I loved hearing his interviews on Talk Jets Radio. By the way, if you're listening to me, if you're a Jets fan, go listen to Talk Jets Radio. It's a great product they put out. And with the coronavirus going on right now, they're working hard to pump out episodes, and I'm really liking it. Everybody who watches them is liking it. And the big thing with them is fan interaction. And they get access, or they did get access before the coronavirus. Who knows what's going to happen this year? But they had access to practices, I believe, stuff like that, and they had access to players like Quincy Enunwa. However they got that worked out, they must hit him up and hey, we'd love to have you on. People like Quincy Enunwa, they definitely had Avery Williamson on before. I'm not sure who else, but they've had a few players on, and it's great interviews. I really like those guys. Long Beach Joe, Tyson Roush, and Primetime. Primetime. Primetime's taking on a more prominent role in that podcast these days. Joe, he's got a demanding job, and maybe that's what's going on. He's a firefighter. Maybe that's what's happening. Or maybe he's just just working on something else, and he doesn't really want to be a podcast. I wish Long Beach Joe would stick around more. We all love Long Beach Joe, the man of the people, here for the people. You shamelessly promote my Facebook page. That's his saying. But go watch them. And so speaking on Quincy Enunwa, right now he's just draining us. He's draining us, and he's not doing anything. Now, on a personal level, great for Quincy Enunwa. Love that guy. Great that he's making his money. On the team level, obviously it ain't working out. He's sucking money from us right now. Money, very valuable dollars that, maybe Joe Douglas would be less hesitant to pick up some of these players. Maybe not. I don't think so. Joe Douglas has been sticking to his guns recently, and I respect that. And I hope it works out, man. It looked like it worked out for this draft, at least on paper. We got to see what happens on the field with these players, but there was some great stuff. And welcome to the New York Jets, Mekhi Becton, man. That damn giant of a human being. Did you see that guy's dad? Did you see his dad when he was picked in the draft? Oh my God, I was scared for those people he was hugging on, man. Big man, and so is his son. That's a beautiful family right there of giant people ready to protect Sam Darnold at any cost, and that's what he's gonna do for us, man. And I believe that, man. Joe Douglas really went with upside for that pick, and I like what this guy says. I like what he was coming out of this man's mouth, Mekhi Becton. He says all the right things. I love his activity on Twitter. He's really out there, and it's just great. He's a good pick, It's like kind of like what Jamal Adams used to do. Well, before all this contract dispute went on, he used to be very vocal on Twitter and say, "Oh, what's up to all these great draft pick? Oh, what's up, guy?" He at the end of the draft, I believe, he tweeted something out. "Oh, congratulations, guys!" He tweeted a picture of all the names, and that's all he did. Before it was a little more enthusiastic, but can't really blame the man, I guess. I love me some Jamal Adams. As a Jets fan, we all love some Jamal Adams, and I'm not really gonna blame him for having some animosity. And if he's working with, it's almost like the deck right now is stacked against him. He loves G-Dub, this guy. He really does. But that's not the head coach. Speaking of that, I was hoping that we dropped Adam Gase and just went with Greg Williams. That didn't happen. Greg Williams has previous, I believe he has previous interim head coaching experience. I could be wrong in that. I'd have to double check on that. But he's if he doesn't have that, he at least has been around. This guy knows what he's doing. And if you listen to the players in the locker room, they love playing for Greg Williams. Some of the quotes is that's the coach you like to. It's press quotes. That you're super. People will tell you, hey, this would be really great if you said this to the press. But they say he's the type of coach you'd want to run through a brick wall for, and that sounds like a leader of men, the leader of men that we've been waiting for. And that's not, you don't hear anybody say that about Adam Gase. If people are saying that about Greg Williams, if Adam Gase inspired anything like that, we'd obviously be hearing that, but we're not. And as a Jet fan, I was hoping that we dumped this guy, especially during that Dolphins game that we lost. During that Dolphins game, it was so sad. I was at my uncle's house, and he doesn't know anything about football, but he was watching me, just in pain, watching that game, and I was just like, let's get rid of this guy. And I wanted to get rid of him, and I was like, we have such a good option in house, and I thought it would have been a great thing, because we would have been able to test Greg Williams out to see if he was true head coach material. The Browns didn't go with him last year or the year before, and I know he was mad about that because everywhere he goes, he's brought in because he can turn something around, and that's what he's done with his defense. He's really inspired them. Not to say that Todd Bowles, I mean, he didn't really do much. Todd Bowles, Todd Bowles, from all accounts that we've heard. Apparently, Todd Bowles is a great guy, and I'm sure he is. I'm sure Todd Bowles is a great guy. I'm sure Todd Bowles is a guy I'd love to have a conversation with. I could talk football with, but he did not seem to inspire the people like Greg Williams is right now. Greg Williams is lighting a fire under the defense's asses, and he's utilizing these players. He's truly utilizing these players. None of this bullshit like when Todd Bowles was around, where there was a little feud between him and the front office, where he wouldn't play certain players because he didn't like them and stuff like that. Oh, it was just disgusting when Todd Bowles was around. It's disgusting now with Adam Gase, but that's just the way it is with the Jets. Welcome to the Jets, man. I'm gonna take a little break. I'll be right back to record the next section. See you soon. Break time. Break time's over, bitches. Anyway, so I was talking about Greg Williams, and I was hoping that he would be able to take over last year. I was definitely hoping that he'd be able to take over last year, and I thought that it would give us an opportunity to see if we have any solutions in house to fix the damn problems that Adam Gase is leaving us with. But clearly, us as Jet fans, we're not getting that. At least last year, we got another year of the Adam Gase regime. And, maybe this is leaving a bad taste in Jamal Adams' mouth. Maybe he's wondering, maybe I don't want to come back to this loser organization. Jamal Adams wants to win. He really wants to win. He's one of those players that just hates losing. And obviously everybody wants to win. But not everybody got Jamal Adams' drive. And I believe that's clear to anybody that watches. And he loves Greg Williams. And Greg Williams, if he can get somebody like Jamal Adams on his side, I would like to see what he could do. And I feel like this is one of those things that not a lot of people are talking about. It would have been a great way to test out what we got going on. It's not going to happen. We got, it's hope. Let's hope that, first off, let's hope that Adam Gase is good. I guess we're gonna have to give him a clean slate this year, and hope that he pulls a good season out of his ass. But I don't have a lot of faith in that. He's had a lot of years to show us what he's got going on. But, what he's got going on is some ill-prepared, only go with the scripted stuff and can't get shit done type of football. Well, we'll see. We're just going to hope he gets it done. We're going to hope that Sam Darnold finally makes that leap. And I don't know. This offensive line is definitely a little more solid. Not just a little more. It's way more solid than what we had last year. But in terms of, if you stack them up against some of the best offensive lines in the league, there's much to be desired. And we got Clive. What is his name? Clive Walford. That's on the market right now, I believe. He's is a player right now, a guard, I believe. Oh no, Clive Walford. It's completely out of the thing. I would have to find his name somewhere else because I am not gonna get it right now. But there is a guard right now who's available on the market who was released by who is it? The Saints, I believe. Honestly, I don't know for sure. This is all I'm just speaking out of my ass right now. But I do know I gotta prepare a little bit more. This is a learning session. I do know that there's a guard out there that would be for a decent price that that's on the market that we're not picking up for some reason. He's a Pro Bowl guard, and Joe Douglas is not looking his way. Maybe it's because though, it's because Joe Douglas wants to. Let me see. Larry Warford. That's why I got it mixed up. It was by the Saints. He was released by the Saints. Released because of his Larry Walford still blocked well last year, but was released because of his $70 million contract. He's not the same player he once was, but he can still be a solid starter for a team at a cheaper price. You know who Larry Walford is? But Warford is better than. Larry Warford is better than Brian Winters. Brian Winters has been iffy. Of course, through his time in the league, there's some games where he's doing all right, and some games where he's just basura, bro. Throw that man in the trash. Some of these games, you know. And I remember the one game we was yelling at Sam Darnold, but that's neither here nor there. It's and if we were to release him, we could free up the cap space to get Larry Warford, because Larry Warford's not he's not asking for a large amount of sum right now. He's get they released him for $7 million. We can pick up $7 million. We don't have anybody to pay besides Jamal Adams, and even Jamal Adams we're not even paying. So what the hell is the let's pick up Larry Warford is what a lot of us are saying. But something that went through my mind a little bit is I wonder if Joe Douglas wants to have a little bit of carryover from last season to have it gel just a little bit more, the line gel just a little bit more, because we completely revamped that line. I'd have to look at who's staying, who's gone, but the majority of that line is not hanging around. We've had so many acquisitions this year for the line. Joe Douglas said what he was going to do. He really revamped that, and I along with a lot of other fans think that Larry Warford would be like a little cherry on top. With the selections that we have this off season, he would be the cherry on top to this line that Joe Douglas says that he's all for and he's here to change. But it's not happening. He's not picking him up, at least for the time being. Maybe he wowzers us tomorrow and picks us up. I wake up, Larry Warford's on the Jets, Brian Winters released, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. He's available. He's somebody I want to get. There was also the corner that we thought we had for a little bit. We hopefully pick him up. Things are definitely moving slower with the coronavirus, and that's another thing that I believe Jamal Adams is that's one of those things that's coming into his contract right now. The little thing they got going on where he's not getting it. He really wants the extension right now. The biggest thing that Jamal Adams could get that off of is this desire that he wants this is the signing of the safety. What's his name? He's on the Bears. I'll look him up right now. Highest paid safety. Let's go. Eddie Jackson, right? Eddie Jackson, I believe. Let me get his contract information up right now. He gets biggest ever safety payday. A contract extension for $58.4 million, according to agents at Sports Trust. It made him the highest paid safety in the league. And as far as I know, from everything that I've been hearing, Eddie Jackson is in the same exact draft class as Jamal Adams. And this could be one of the biggest things, along with Jamal Adams' dad, who was a previous player in the league. He used to play for the Giants. This got to be one of the biggest things in that's influencing Jamal Adams right now, making him say that he wants this contract extension so early in his contract. I see a lot of people, retweeting or posting on Instagram that, I saw something the other day about J.J. Watt, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was J.J. Watt. that was saying that, oh, I'm not going to go for the contract extension right now. It can wait. If there's bigger fish to fry or something like that. I think this Jamal Adams is just right now what he's got going on. It's, he's J.J. Watt has at least been to the damn playoffs. And obviously he's had great success in his career. It's very different situations, but it's one of those things that some people are pointing to. He just we got to remember Jamal Adams plays for the Jets. You know, and if you're gonna make an extension for the game that you love, that Jamal Adams has been quoted saying before that he wants to die on the football field. If you want to make an extension for that, you're gonna want you're gonna be really picky about it because you're on a team that hasn't seen you've seen way more L's than you've seen W's. And that's a problem if you're Jamal Adams. That's a problem if you're anybody on the team, but especially, as we all know, for Jamal Adams. And that's one of the reasons why he wants his contract. Do I believe that Jamal Adams should get his contract? For me, yes. For me, the contract is the money isn't, astronomical. It's going to be the highest paid safety, but, there's a lot of cap space in this league. And it's not a quarterback contract, man. And if we can get some of that out of the way right now, I'm all for it. And on top of that, the projection of that signing would have on the league, if we signed a player that worked for the Jets, that really put the work in, that people loved, a good player that we drafted, if we signed him to a long-term extension, if we gave him highest paid safety money, that would make other players look at us and go, hey, well, maybe they're turning it around. They had a great draft, this and that. Joe Douglas came from a great background. Well, I don't know about Adam Gase, but Joe Douglas has the 6-year contract. So Joe Douglas, he did that on purpose in case Adam Gase doesn't work out, so that he can be here and pick somebody new when Adam Gase gets kicked to the fucking curb. And if we signed Jamal Adams, not only is just first of all just having Jamal Adams on the team for long term, it would also, like I said, just everybody in the league is looking at that and saying, "Wow, look at them really putting the effort in to keep the good players, to pay them, to reward them for really bringing it on the field." But like I said, maybe the coronavirus is adding into this situation here and is extending what's really going on. But also, Joe Douglas has shown that he does not want to be stepped on when it comes to contract negotiations. And that's why he's done a lot of these one-year deals. Especially, I think one of the biggest examples of that is Jordan Jenkins. Jordan Jenkins is another player that I believe is on a one-year deal. And it's these deals, these bargain bin deals that Joe Douglas has been just handing out this year. And it's great for the team for now, but next year, God, we're gonna have to fill so many spots. Okay, so just to re-sign linebacker Jordan Jenkins to a one-year deal per Rappaport, Jordan Jenkins is staying with Gang Green for the 2020 season. After 5 days on the open market, the veteran linebacker is going to sign a one-year deal worth $5 million. Bargain bin for a player that everybody wanted back. He's slowly progressed throughout the years, but we all wanted it back on a longer deal than a one-year deal. Jordan Jenkins has shown to be the a football player that you want on your team, somebody who works at it, somebody who gets better over time. And we got him on a one-year deal, just like all these other players. I believe we got Brian Poole on a one-year deal. I think some of these it's a lot of acquisitions we got here on a one-year deal. It makes me, my conspiracy theorist in my head makes you think, oh, maybe Joe Douglas is gearing up for, a year where he has to pick a new head coach, and he's able, to give the head coach, a clean slate. And he could say, hey, if you got all these positions to fill, you want to work together and blah, 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 get some new stuff, because they got a whole bunch of empty spots and a lot of money, because Joe Douglas did not spend a lot of money this year. That goes back to, let's get Jamal Adams' contract, but that's, I guess we're not, but at least for the time being. And so, maybe he's gearing up for an Adam Gaseless year where he gets to revamp the roster. you never know. We're just gonna have to see. This is the first off season with Joe Douglas, and as far as what we've seen, he's been making some spicy moves. Another move I'd like to bring up is Joe Flacco. Listen, man. We knew we needed a veteran quarterback. We got David Fales, trash. David Fales is straight garb. He should not be on an NFL team. According to my opinion, when he was on the team, we had zero chance to make anything happen. But we still had to trot out David Fales because I don't know. I was one of those fans that was saying, hey, let's pick up like where's Brock Osweiler at? He's not the best, but at least he's something. I guess not. We had to work with David Fales, and they thought it was good enough to bring him back for another season. I don't, but whatever. And then we picked up James Morgan in the draft, which was a controversial pick. Was pretty much the only really controversial pick of Joe Douglas. But he has, James Morgan has a lot of potential to be a decent backup in this league. Uh, and his highest ceiling is like a decent starter, but that's wishful thinking. And obviously, I don't see that happening at least on the Jets with Sam Darnold on the team. But obviously, we can't trot into the year with him in there. So Joe Douglas went into his basket of other players that he knows he's worked with in the past, and he went back to his time with the Ravens, and he picked up Joe Flacco. A good move, very good move, especially with the mindset that Joe Flacco is moving with into the Jets. Joe Flacco today, he had an interview today come out where he is saying that he's embracing his backup role, which is great. This is what you love to hear from your backup quarterback, where you got the up and coming starter, and you don't want any kind of controversy, which is why a lot of people aren't picking up. What's his name? The extravagant man that uses the weird letters. Cam Newton, that guy. That's why nobody's picking him up, and that's why he believes, and it looks like it is what happened, that the Panthers fucked him over because they released him after everybody filled their needs. Nobody's going to pick him up because then you have a quarterback controversy on your side, on your team. That's obviously is one of the biggest reasons why we didn't pick him up, because Cam Newton is no doubt a very serviceable quarterback, and if you could definitely win games with Cam Newton on your team as a backup if your starter ever went down. And when it comes to Joe Flacco now, his recent body of work didn't look too spicy. It was a lot of runs. It wasn't the spiciest offense you'd ever seen. And when Drew Lock came in, it got lit on fire, and they said, "All right, Joe Flacco, get the fuck out of here. Go to the damn Jets, boy." And that's where he's at now. And if he was, if he has to play and Sam Darnold's down, it's not the best choice, but it's way better than what we had in house. And the fact that Joe Flacco, man, he is a guy that knows his place. He knows what he's here to do. He's a guy that loves football, and he was willing to do what it takes to stay playing football. And Joe, he's a cool cat who knows what he's working with, man. And he's just playing with the cards he's dealt with. And I'd like to, as a Jet fan, you love to see it. You love to see your backup quarterback. We've had a string of great veteran quarterbacks recently. I thought when he was playing, he didn't have a lot of playing time. But what's his name? The backup we had last year. He was from the Broncos. His name's slipping my mind right now, but I thought he was a good pickup. I thought he wasn't the best pickup, but he was all right. And he got injured in the same game he started, so he couldn't even show what was going on. But we've had a great string of backup quarterbacks. What have we been going on? From Vic to McCown to the other dude, I'm forgetting his name, and now Flacco. Vic was, he was all right. He didn't really add too much of a spark to the offense. But McCown, Oh man, I wish I picked up a Josh McCown jersey because that guy got a locker room, and everywhere he goes, he does this. He got a locker room to fall in love with him. He's an emotional guy, and he leaves everything on the field. Great guy, a great backup. He still loves Sam Darnold. They still talk all the time. That was a great time. When we had him and he won some games because it was a good time to be a Jets fan. It was heartbreaking to see him go down with that injury, that arm injury. But it's in the past. He's moved on. He had a sad story. He had that game with the Eagles in the playoffs where he couldn't really get anything done. But it's just good backup quarterbacks. Great pickup by Joe Douglas, in my opinion. Joe Flacco is here to help Sam Darnold in his career. Now, this makes you want to move on to another pickup by Joe Douglas that doesn't really seem. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's not really his pickup. It's a Adam Gase pickup in Frank Gore, the fucking aging running back, excuse me, who's just running away from his age right now at this point. He's not, from what I hear from Bills fans last year, everybody was tight because Frank Gore really what he was doing was taking carries away from the great Devin Singletary, who showed up and showed out last year. Really, what a great pickup by the Bills, really. And from what I hear from the Bills fans is that Frank Gore just took carries away from him. It felt like, but he works. Frank Gore works. He puts the work in is what I mean to say. And then that's why really one of the biggest reasons why we picked him up. That's one of the biggest reasons why Adam Gase picked him up. And one of the biggest things that we take from this situation is we finally found an Adam Gase guy. We finally found somebody that experienced the Adam Gase experience. He sat down, listened to him, played games with him, and he's like, "Hey, I want some more of that on my plate." And he's getting some more of that. And I'd never thought I'd see the day, but we found it. And he's a hardworking guy from all accounts, but I would definitely, I think I'd rather have Bilal Powell, the great Jet, long-term Jet, and I feel sad. I feel sad that we're losing Bilal Powell, but it's the league, it's the way that it's going. And we got Frank Gore in. He's another one of these guys that's saying, "Oh, the AFC East is wide open," which it is. AFC East is wide open, but I don't think it's as wide open as people say it is, man. Bill Belichick is still on that team. And we got to remember that last year, that team relied on that defense. Tom Brady's still the GOAT, man. Tom Brady was laying them balls out to some shitty wide receivers, and that was his main problem last year. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, washed up, washed up." I don't say that. I don't believe that for 1 second. Tom Brady makes impeccable decisions on the field. He always makes the right decisions. Almost, his last pass as a Patriot with a pick six. Well, he was against the wall, almost literally. Um, he's still a great quarterback in this league, and I think his biggest downfall last year was the weapons, or lack of weapons. And when people talk about the AFC East being wide open, I think you can't dismiss the great defense. And I'd like to go back to, as an example, I'd like to go back to the Jacksonville Jaguars a couple of years ago when they took the league by storm and made it to the championship game. They made it to the championship game with Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles. That man is that man is straight guard, bro. And they made it to the AFC Championship game because they had a great defense. Now they're in rebuild mode. That's just because they really mishandled a lot of their players, but they made it with Blake Bortles. And you're telling me that Bill Belichick, with that almost historic defense, can't do that, can't reproduce something like that this year? I think you're crazy. I think a lot of people are going to be shocked. Not necessarily shocked. I think when it happens, they're going to be like, "Oh, yeah. Why did I even think for a second that they weren't going to get 9 to 10 wins? you know, 9 to 10, 11 wins, and not be in the damn race in the playoffs." I think that's just a product of Bill Belichick's great defense. The what is it? The versatile players that he has on that field. It's his formula works, and we'd be fucking up to say that we just got to discount the Patriots. Now, the Bills. We're talking about the AFC landscape here. The Bills is next up on my list here. That that's a spicy defense. That's definitely a spicy defense. And on top of that, they have a competent offense. They don't have the best offense in the league. They added Stephon Diggs. The Miami Miracle. They added Stephon Diggs. Maybe he's gonna bring in some. Maybe if they had him on the team last year, they would have won that playoff game. Maybe because he's just got that kind of tricks in the bag. This guy, but their biggest assets, obviously, the defense. What they have on top of the Patriots is their confident offense and their competent QB. You know, he, Josh Allen, very inaccurate, that guy, and he hasn't, he hasn't improved greatly on that. He's definitely improved, but you'll still see some of the throws he makes, man. It's just ducks being thrown out there. That's all he's wailing. He's got the arm though. He's got the arm talent. If he gears it up this year again, we'll see what happens. But from what I've seen, I definitely think that he's way below Sam Darnold, and you can say I'm biased, and I am. So fuck you. The Bills Mafia. You can say whatever you want. Yeah, I appreciate those fans over there. You're a rowdy bunch, but I definitely think that Sam Darnold's way better than Josh Allen. That's not to discredit Josh Allen's game, because Josh Allen has a different game than Sam Darnold. Josh Allen will just take that ball and I'm gonna go take it over this line. Sam Darnold has done that from time to time, but not like Josh Allen. Josh Allen puts the team on his back sometimes, and that kind of kills him. If you watch him in that playoff game, some of the biggest reasons why they lost was some of the plays in the last draft that Josh Allen made. But that's the thing though, is he's a young QB and he's gonna clean some of that up. I definitely believe that, and a lot of people are saying that they're gonna run away with it. I don't know if they'll run away with it, but you're not gonna discount them this year. They're gonna be coming for the AFC's next, every AFC East's neck, and they're gonna put a dent in that playoff spot. And I have faith in that. And now when we come to the Jets, the beloved Jets, I still think they don't have a lot of weapons, and we lost a ton of weapons on the offense, and we need to fix our cornerback positioning. Still, we still haven't fully addressed that. We're waiting to see what players like Bryce Hall could bring to the table, and we're waiting to see what's his name? There's another cornerback. His name's slipping me right now. I gotta be more prepared. I'll be more prepared next time. He was a rookie cornerback last year, I believe, and he showed some solid performance from week to week, and we're gonna see how they go. But overall, I still think we're another year away from really being a contender. Now, if Sam Darnold really starts to elevate the team, like I believe he can, then maybe we compete for a wild card spot. Like I said, this defense, even without some of those top flight corners, we were still wrecking. We were still wrecking the league. We were still one of the best defenses in the run. If we could clean up some of our game, man, we could definitely put together a solid season. And if Sam Darnold can just put that weight on his back, he can stop kissing these dirty girls, man. We could put together a nice season. I truly believe that. But I just don't have full faith in it right now. We don't have a roster makeup to do something like that. But we'll see where it goes. I think right now for the Jets, it's almost a toss-up because we haven't even seen Sam Darnold in a full season. And as we've seen in the league, this is a quarterback league. And if he can put it on his back, we're going to go somewhere. And I truly believe that. Moving on to the Dolphins, they're going to be a sore in our asses. And I truly believe that because they're a well-coached team. And they still got Ryan Fitzpatrick on that. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is not the type of player to lay down and take it, man. He's gonna come at you. And he's gonna have those few games where the Fitz magic comes out. And this year, according to the schedule, we're gonna be playing them back to back. We're gonna have both the Jets and the Dolphins. It's crazy. We're gonna have our bye week, and before our bye week, we're gonna be facing the Dolphins, and after the bye week, we're gonna be facing the Dolphins. Crazy. And if we happen to just be in the string of games where Fist Magic is going on, we're gonna have a tough fucking time. And so are other teams in the league if they're in that string. And it's but they're definitely not gonna be. I still believe they're gonna be in the bottom. I hope we see Tua Tagovailoa, and I hope I said that right. I don't know if I said it right. I hope we see him this year. I think we are another crazy accurate quarterback. I have heard some of these QB coaches say that they don't know if he just has it. If he can do it, get it done. But that's just people talking. What he puts on the field speaks for itself. He's very accurate. He could throw dots all around the field. And I hope to see him because it's gonna be a great thing to see. It's gonna be fun to see a competitive Dolphins in years to come. But we're gonna squash the fish. I believe that. No, nobody's coming at Sam Darnold when he finally gets the weapons that he's gonna need. Now, other thing that I wanted to talk about here. We all in this quarantine have been starving for content. All of us have been starving for content. We've been starving for sports in particular because obviously there's nothing going on, and we don't even know if it's gonna go off with a hitch this year. And but one of the things that we had to hold us over was the Last Dance documentary about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. And I watched that. I pumped some iron to that because it was fucking inspiring, man. That was an inspiring a documentary, and I got some gains, some Corona gains from watching that documentary with my workout gear here, pumping that iron. No, I got some nice pecs, all right pecs. I don't got nice pecs. I got all right pecs these days because Michael Jordan, he put that fire under my ass for 40 to 50 minutes at a time, and I was loving it. But it also got me to think, you know, if I was somebody, particularly like Tom Brady, and I'm watching that, boy, boy, am I inspired. Boy, am I thinking, with Tom Brady coming in to this season, in it's just some unknown circumstances, something he's never done before in the National Football League. He's getting everything he wanted, and he's gonna come at the league's neck, and he will. A lot of people discount him. Listen, man. When you have a quarterback that makes good decisions, you have winning football. And that's all you need right there. And when you got a quarterback who makes good decisions and has weapons, you got you got a playoff run. And I truly believe that. I don't think it's an overstatement to say that they're gonna hit the playoffs. I don't think we can start saying that they're Super Bowl or Super Bowl bound. But if you look at the offense last season and the kind of shit they put together with that homeboy over there, Jameis Winston, throwing them interceptions all the time. If you look what they were able to put together with the weapons they have, now imagine Tom Brady and Jameis Winston's feet. Oh, mwah, a beautiful product's gonna be put on that field, and you'll all see it. You'll watch it. It's gonna be there. And Tom Brady was no doubt watching that. And he tweeted about it. He tweeted a little video clip of him saying he's got some goals for this season. And this Last Dance documentary is kind of like it's stewing in his mind. And that's what I was thinking when I was watching that. I was like, hey, somewhere in Derek Jeter's fucking ginormous house, a piece of land that I'll never be able to probably even lay my eyes on in my life. Homeboy is slayed up in there, probably in some theater room, having a great time going, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna bitch out the league this year. I'm gonna do everything it takes. I'm gonna put in the hard work. I'm gonna go to the park in the coronavirus and I'm gonna get kicked out by the cops. I'm gonna go have a secret practice with players from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I want to see how it goes. And listen, man, he's gonna come with a vengeance this year. And I know if you will know Tom Brady like the Jets fans do, like we've had to know for the time, the torturous time that he's been on that team. He's gonna come back with a vengeance, and winning football is all you need. I mean, obviously, I say that it sounds kind of retarded when I say that, but it's what you need in this league. It's kind of like what I was saying about the Green Bay Packers last year. If you looked at their record last year, it was very sloppy. A lot of their wins came in the last minute where they had to eke it out. It was never like this runaway stuff like the Chiefs or the Ravens, these high-powered offense. But they won. And I remember having a conversation with the customers at my job, at my work, a Packers fan, where I was telling him I got a lot of faith in the Packers this year, and we're moving into the playoffs, because a lot of people were saying, oh, they're winning by these slim margins, this, and that. You know what you need in the playoffs? You just need winning football. In the playoffs, it doesn't matter if you eke it out last minute, as long as you get the win. And all year, that's what the Green Bay Packers have been doing. They were just going out there, doing what it takes, and that's all you need to do. And that's what Tom Brady's gonna do. He's gonna do what it takes. He's gonna throw the ball at the tight end's feet when it's not there. He's gonna throw the ball in the tight end's hands when it is there, which, by the way, is Rob Gronkowski. He comes out of retirement when when when, it, when Tom Brady's on a new team. Rob's like, "Hey, I'm gonna stop smoking all this CBD. I'm gonna come your way, bro." Actually, he's probably gonna continue smoking that CBD and maybe that weed, because now they got a policy where they're not gonna penalize you for that shit. Great. Great for all them potheads in the league. Happy for all you guys. Spark it up, man, and enjoy it while you play your football. Even though some of these players already admitted that they're getting high before every fucking game. Who was that? Like, was that Calvin Johnson that said that? I don't know for sure, but I know somebody came out and they were like, "Hey, before every game, I was high as balls." And listen, man, instead of chalking these guys full up with all those fucking painkillers that you do, let's do that, please. All right? And I'm glad that they can finally do it. And Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady, they're going to fuck it up. And, when I talk about Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, you know what it makes me think of? And, of course, it makes me think of Bill Belichick. But what it does make me think of Bill Belichick it makes me think of him and Jerry Cross. Jerry Cross. Jerry Cross of the Chicago Bulls. He's the GM that put together the dream team. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, that extravagant guy whose name slipped in my head right now. He put that shit together. But if you watch that Bulls documentary, you see that in the end of his tenure, he was like, "Hey." He was all about the organization. He said he basically put it all on the organization, the reason why we're winning. It's clear that the reason why they're winning was because he was able to put these players together. Michael Jordan was on that team, and that's why, well, one of the biggest reasons why the organization where it is where it is. And that makes me think of, another team where we have a supposed great front office, but they seem to drive away some of the greatest players that the league has ever seen. Rob Gronkowski was quoted saying that he did no longer had fun with football. Bill Belichick, no doubt, kicked these guys out. He didn't kick them out, but with the way that he coaches, the way that he doesn't let you, it really it's a factory over there. And people like Rob Gronkowski, the fun-loving people like Tom Brady, the fucking GOAT quarterback, yeah, they leave. They leave because, why? Because the front office, it doesn't sit well with them anymore. Kind of like Jerry Krause. Now, it's a little different. Well, not for Tom Brady, because Tom Brady was kicked out. But for Rob Gronkowski, he left on his own accord. But Jerry Krause kicked him out. He was like, "No, I don't want to I don't want to redo your contracts, man. I'm gonna trade you, Scotty. I'm gonna do this, and Michael Jordan. I'm not gonna bring you back. This, and that." And they were never the same after that. And that got me thinking when I was watching that documentary about the Patriots and comparing Bill Belichick to Jerry Krause. You know, we'll see. This year we'll really see how that goes. If he can really put together something. And like I said, I do believe that he's going to. Without a hitch. If you look at his win percentage without Tom Brady, it's a great fucking win percentage, man. I don't know if off the top of the dome, but listen, man, you can't discount Bill Belichick and his defense. But as I'm watching the documentary, I was thinking, hey, like it looks a little similar to what the Patriots were doing. They had a dynasty, 6 rings. tough front office that didn't let the stars that brought you the rings come back. And maybe we see the story of the Chicago Bulls play out with the Patriots now, where they take that immediate downward decline because they decided not to bring these big name players back. It's just a little thought that I had when I'm watching the Chicago Bulls documentary. We'll see. This year will really show us what's going on. Um, I have faith though. Reluctant faith, not reluctant faith, but like I don't want to see it because I'm a Jets fan and fuck the Patriots. But yeah, you can't discount Bill Belichick. That's just how it is. Uh, and it looks like, all right. So we're headed towards the end of this podcast here. I got a solid hour and 5 minutes out of that. Nice sports talk. But with this podcast, I don't know. I'm not sure where it's gonna head. It's gonna be its own animal from what I see. With everything you create, you have to kind of give it space to create itself. And I like to talk about more serious topics from time to time. Not obviously not on a podcast because it's my first fucking podcast, but one of the things that's going on right now is a couple of days ago we had the killing of George Floyd, who was an African American who had his neck kneeled on. And this is taking a fucking turn, but I wanted to squeeze this in because I wanted to see how this podcast grows with more topics and that not just sports. I wanted to see if I'm comfortable doing kind of stuff like this, if I enjoy doing stuff like this, and I didn't want to get too deep into this. I didn't want to get political, but I did want to bring up George Floyd. George Floyd, obviously, very clearly, if you watch the footage, he wasn't resisting arrest. It was something silly, as silly as a counterfeit dollar bill, as from the recent reports that I've seen. It was the reason why he was arrested, and the dude kneeled on his neck, which, from all accounts, is not typical procedure. He kneels on his neck and just cuts off the airways, and it's tragic, man. It's hard to see. This definitely took a fucking turn in this podcast. Who knows if I'll even play this portion or if I'll cut it off or something. But I just wanted to talk about not really the situation and the riots that are going on, but towards the end of this, I wanted to bring up George Floyd's. There was this clip of him going around, and I thought it's the only thing about the situation that I shared on my Instagram page. George Floyd has this video of I don't know, maybe a couple years ago. I don't know. No, you don't really know. It's just a video that's popped up of him talking about you know black people killing black people. Basically, he was talking about gun violence, gun violence, and it's not just black people because I've personally lost family to gun violence, to gang violence, and it's sad, and it's I saw this and you know I thought it was a great message. I thought it was a great message for him to be putting out there. And if there's anything that we're gonna take from what went down, man, I want it to be that. And also, obviously there needs to be some change with policing, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about here. I wanted to talk about how George Floyd definitely didn't deserve it. I wanted to talk about how he seemed like a very wise man, at least from what we've seen online. You never know who he was. He could have been like that weirdo at the cookout. You never know. But from what I've seen, George Floyd looks like a great guy, and he was speaking on gun violence, and he was talking about how it affects young kids, and how young kids. I think the quote is, they'll be walking around with that gun. They'll be talking hard, but when they go home, when they're laying in that bed, their knees will be knocking. Because they're right in their head. They got a lot of stuff going on they're not willing to deal with, and people in that situation, they cover it up with the gang stuff, and they cover it up with gun violence. And I think it's crazy, and my family's been personally, we've been affected by it, and I just thought it was a great message, and I don't know what I was gonna do with this segment. I'm definitely gonna find a way if I ever talk about something like this in the future, to put it in more fluid. But I think I definitely felt the need to talk about George Floyd, and this video where he put out this great message and this powerful message. And and if you're listening to this right now, I don't know who's gonna be listening to this, man. A few friends, you know. Aramis definitely. I think he'll be listening to this. What's up, Aramis? But you know, it hurts. It hurts to see something like that. But if there's definitely one thing that we should all take from it, you know, you should look up that video where he talks about, you know, the 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 gun violence within black communities. It's just, you know, a silver lining to somebody's death that his message like that could be brought out. And if there, you know, of course I'm not happy about what happened, but I'm happy that at least that message gets to a wider audience. And I wish more people took from that. Um, this was harder. This is way dark to talk about, but I don't know. I don't want the I don't think this podcast is going to end up just being a sports thing, or maybe I have a separate podcast for stuff like this. But no, rest in peace, George Floyd. That's all I can say. Um, and thank you for listening. If anybody's listening to this, I don't care if nobody's listening to it because I had a fun time, and it definitely had points of being fucking trash. But that's to be expected with the first podcast. Welcome to my first try. And if you are listening to this, I just want to say thank you. And I wanted to say that if you're listening to this and you're probably close to me, if you listen to this, you're probably a close friend, be on my ass and tell me to keep doing this shit. Because, you know, I'm a procrastinator and it took me a while to even do this. But, um, be on my ass and tell me what you think about it. And if you think I'm fucking trash and you think I should never do this shit again, tell me. And you know what I'll say to you? If you got some valid points, I'd be like, oh, thank you for telling me that. But if you tell me not to do this anymore, I say, fuck you, bro. Or, you know, because I'm going to continue to fucking do it till it gets better. Um, I don't know. I'll get better at this as we go along. For now, I got 1 hour and 11 minutes of me just talking to you. Thank you for listening. Truly, sincerely. I hope this blossoms into something that I love. You know, I have a lot of plans for this stuff. Not just this. I got plans for YouTube videos. I got plans for a lot of things in the future. And most importantly, this is gonna grow. And if you're here from day one, or if you're somebody fucking 6 years from now who goes back to podcast one, welcome back, Trooper. You know, welcome to the first episode. I got a lot of faith in myself. I got a lot of faith in where this podcast is headed. Thank you for your time, truly. And I'll see you on the next podcast. This is the Josh OT podcast. Have a great fucking day. And love life, man. Because we only got one life, man. It's all we got. Peace out, bro.